Using your mind to what? To process. Okay. How many of us did we think today? Did we? I mean, did we? You alone. Okay. You know, thinking is something that happens every day. You think of something every day. Whether you want it or not, you will think of something. Now, what catch my attention when I was researching about this word thinking or think, I realized they say thinking, it's a verb. It's a verb. That when you are thinking, you are doing. So if I am saying, I am thinking of going to town, what am I doing? Oh, it's simple. I'm thinking. What am I doing? I'm doing the thinking. Yes. To go to town. Yeah, the doing is there, that I am thinking to go to town. So me in the process of thinking, there's something I'm doing, which is thinking. They say it's a verb, so it's an active word. It's something that we do. And they say the third person present. I tell you. I believe that you did part of speech, ne? At school. You did them. Hi. Guys. Mr. Narise, Tinashe. We did part of speech at school, ne? I know. I want. You know what? How? We know part of speech, ne? Did we do them? We did them at school. The noun, the verb, the participles, all those things. You wanted me to remind you. Now listen to what they are saying. They are saying. Thinking can be defined in two forms. It can be defined in two forms. The first one is to have a particular opinion or a belief or an idea about someone or something. That is thinking. So that one is the one that we normally not use. Okay, we use it, but it's not the fascinating one for me. The fascinating one is this one that we use when we are angry. There's a thinking that we use when we're what? Angry. You have heard them telling you, who do you think you are? What do you think you are doing? They are showing you the state in which they are. I am angry at you now. It's either don't think that you are better, it's either you stop what you are doing. Ne? We have that kind of thinking. Now, what is an independent or independence? I want us to combine this thing, let me talk, and we are done. Independent. Independent. You know, that's why my elder, I wanted us to be outside, because I have you here. When we are outside here, I can see when I speak. Yeah, because there are some there. But what is independent? Remember, we want to talk about independence in thinking. So if you don't know what is independence, then we can't discuss this kind of topic. My sister, thank you for bailing out. And Sean, you are next. Freedom to express yourself in your own way. Let me just add a word. Is it fine? In your own way. Mr. Tinashe said, Sean. So you are thinking? Okay. What is your thinking? Being outside of control. Mark the word control. When you are in the... my sister.
To add on to that, maybe to also be free from influence, to think about something in the context of thinking, but to think about it without influence of other people's opinions or preconceiving notions of something where it's a thought that comes from you.
Okay. So you generate your own thoughts. You have your own thoughts. You do your own thinking. You make your own choice. Now, they say independent. You have heard of independent women. You have heard of that one? What is that? It means they are not dependent on someone. They depend on themselves. You have heard of that one? Now women are talking. They pay their own bills. In a simpler form, she's saying, if you do not pay your own bills, you depend on someone. You are not independent. So we are saying, you need to depend on yourself in generating your own ideas. You don't have to depend on others to come up with your solutions that concern your life. Now, you have seen friends who don't come to church together. Like they will decide, today let us not go to church. It is not two ideas that it influences them to come to church. It's the idea of one friend that influenced both of them not to come to church. It means one of them depends on the other. The other is doing the thinking. The other is depending on the thinking of someone. So we are saying, if you see here at church, we are not full. Some are not here, not because they were not supposed to be here. They depended on someone's thinking. Then they decide. So, for you to come to church as an independent thinker, you don't consult anyone. Are you going to church? Yes, I'm going. Yes, I'm not. No, you do your own thinking, whether to go or not to go. When you decide that by yourself, I am going to church, without consulting anyone, you are an independent thinker. When you decide by yourself not to go to church, you are an independent thinker. So we are saying we should not depend on the thinking of others. The reason we're thinking, it is that thinking is an opinion. Thinking is not a fact. When you say, I am thinking to go to town, it's not a solid decision that you are going to town. Upon your thinking, you might decide not to go to town, but you have thought to go to town. So you can't depend on someone's opinion about your life. You need to depend on your own opinion, on your own ideas concerning your life. Even my wife at home, she must not depend on my own opinion. She must have her own opinion concerning her life. You ask me, why? How? You know, when we go to heaven, we are not going to go as a couple. I wanted to say I might go to heaven, but let me change the phrasing. They might go to heaven, and I might remain. the cause of me to remain will be based on my opinions and my ideas concerning God. So I can't do the thinking on her behalf about her own life. There's some point where she has to think for herself. If she thinks she's deciding to follow God, it is her own decision to make. I cannot say, now you need to follow God. No, you do your own thinking. You have to stand alone when you are deciding. Here in church, everywhere, do your own thinking. In the church and wherever you are during the week, there are people who work as a group. And even the companies, they form small groups for you to do a certain task. And they will tell you when you are about to do that task, they will tell you, please, guys, this is the idea. I want to get your opinions, your ideas. But when you are busy with this thing, you have to think outside the box. And I keep on asking myself, which box is this? People have set boxes for us. When they say think outside of the box, they are saying now, you can now stop depending on what we have given you. Go an extra mile to think by yourself. But the problem with the box and thinking out of the box, even when you are out of the box, you give reference to the box. Because the focus is here, it's inside the box. So whatever I'm thinking about outside the box shall tally with what is inside the box. So what's the point of going out of the box? One preacher even said, we don't even need this box. It is not necessary. Do away with the box. Because whether you are inside or outside, the reference will be the box. And you will stop thinking independently. When we are saying you are an independent thinker, you are saying you are free to express your opinions, not referencing your ideas to anything. I want to go to church. I want to do this and this by yourself. Now let's leave these definition things. Let's do the Bible readings now. Then we will discuss. If you are burning, you just raise your hand, say something. Even if I'm still busy with things. Let's try Galatians chapter 5 verse 1. Now we talk about independent on Galatians chapter 5 verse 1. You must listen when the verse is read. Because I might ask you, where do we find independence here on this verse? Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. Do we have it? Yes. Can you read it, my elder? Maybe you can have this. It's working. It's not working. This one.
Galatians 5, verse 1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
Read it again, my elder. They are still contemplating on what is the verse saying.
Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
Amen. Do not be what? Entangled with the yoke of what? Of bondage. Be yourself. Be free. God has set you free to do your own things, to decide what you want to do with your life. No consultation. You can do it by yourself. I learned this when I was at school. There was a time where we were going to write a quiz. As faithful as I was at school, good student indeed, this at the time, I didn't put much into studying for that quiz. A night before, I started studying. But I realized that it's not everything that is getting in. I had to make a plan that I go with everything in the exam room. But everything cannot get in here, all of them. I didn't write a small paper whatsoever. I then later realized that one of my best friends at school, he's suffering from the same problem. He didn't study. And a night before, that's when he was starting. Then we bump on each other to say, man, hey, I'm not ready. And the guy said, even me, I was coming to you, I'm not ready. Then let's discuss, what do we do? Oh, my guy, since we are both not ready for the quiz, our readiness won't stop the quiz from coming. It is coming. So you rather take the other portion of the notes, read them. I will read the other portion of the notes. So when we are sitting in the exam room, we need to sit next to each other. The question that comes, and you are the one who read about it, you need to be faithful enough to show what is there. Agreement set, we did that. The next day we went to the exam room. I was so ready, like someone who is ready. Ready for the quiz. That I know half of the notes. Not sure about the other part. I don't even know if the lecturer is going to ask a question from what I have studied. But I was so ready, more than other people who were ready. We get there, open the question paper, first thing first, check the whole question paper to identify the question that concerns me. Jot them down, mark them. And I realized there were few concerning the ones that my friend prepared for. That my friend could write only his portion and pass. But I could not write my portion and pass. And I have to depend on the faithfulness of my friend. I'm a fast writer. I wrote question 1. Wrote. Leave other question. Question 3. Wrote. Leave other question. Question number last. Now, I'm waiting for the revelation of Jesus to be revealed unto the man. Sitting next to my friend, a mystery, a very serious mystery happened. And from that day, I thought that lecturer is the man of God. Out of the blue, the lecturer walked and came to stand next to us. The guy was not going. He was just standing there for no reason. When he is addressing the class, he will address them standing where he is, as if he knows what I am about to do. And I will look at my friend with that ass, but I could not manage. By the time he left our area, I think it was 15 minutes left for the exam, and you can't just open it. I just wrote what came to my mind. Whether it's true or what, I wanted to fill the paper. But that was a lesson I will never forget. I will never depend on anyone for the quiz or whatsoever. I will do my own reading. That when I fail, I'm not going to go to my friends and say, no, man, no, you. I failed because I did my studies and I managed to read what I read. But me depending on him, it sabotaged everything. So depending on people, you have no right. You have no freedom. You wait until they decide. But when you do your own thinking, everything is set. So God has set you free. to do your own things. Whether you are messing up or you are doing good deeds, God had set you free. You know, it's better to go to hell by the decisions you make by yourself than to go to hell by someone's decision. I think you will enjoy better in hell when you have sinned by your own. No one influenced you to sin. But when you are influenced by someone and you end up in hell, it's so painful. But okay, it's good. There's advantage for those who will be influenced by others and enter heaven. That one is a benefit. But I am saying, do your own thinking. Depend on yourself. Some verses are nice that are coming. Then I give you time to talk. Say, you are burning. You are not burning yet. Okay. Romans chapter 12, verse 13. For by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment. You know, don't put yourself here when you're supposed to be here. Don't put yourself very high when you are supposed to be on the average. Even if we are supposed to be high, but treat yourself like everyone. The Bible says, think of yourself with a sober judgment. Judge yourself. Check yourself. Let's finish reading and then we talk. There's some few things to talk about. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Matthew 5, 17. Someone will read 6, verse 7. It's Matthew. Someone will read 27, verse 53. Still on Matthew. Some will read Matthew 10, verse 34. And the last one will be Proverbs chapter 21, verse 2. Then I will then talk. Matthew 5, 17.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Can you, the Bible says do what? Think not. Do not think that I am here to abolish the law, but I'm here to fulfill the law. So, the issue of the law need no consultation. You by yourself do not even think that God is here to abolish the law, but he is here to what? To fulfill the law. There are people who will engage you in a talk. They want to convince you that their thinking is right concerning certain stuff. And it happens a lot when we are talking about things pertaining the Bible. That many, they will think and they will convince themselves and they will want to convince you. But the Bible says, think not that God came to abolish the law. So there is a thinking that you are not supposed to do. There's a kind of thinking that you are not supposed to engage yourself in. Okay, let's pass these other ones. Let's read this last one, two of them. My leader, you can read Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. This is a very interesting one. Matthew chapter 10, verse 34. Very interesting verse indeed. Matthew chapter 10, verse 34. Listen to two words. There's peace, there's sword. And you find what God said he's bringing to the earth.
Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
You're not reading this Bible, you guys. God is talking. God is talking, he's telling us, do not dare and start thinking that me, God, I am here to bring peace. am here to bring sword. Now, now the Bible is something, I'm telling you. God of peace. God who wants peace among his children. God who wants us to be in harmony. Say, I am not here for that. I didn't bring peace. I am bringing a sword. What is a sword? A sword. Someone say a sword is. It's a sword, eh? What is a sword? A weapon. Are you saying a weapon of mass destruction? A weapon that was used to bring chaos. A weapon that is used to kill, to cut. God is saying, between the sword and peace, I am bringing the weapon that kills, the weapon that cuts into pieces in the world. And now even me as a pastor was confused. I have preached about the peace of God until I read this verse and say, I thought I know the Bible, but now God is proving me wrong. Now, when God says, I am not bringing peace, I am bringing sword, it is because peace you already have. When God created human beings, there was no sword but peace. There was harmony. There was love. There was everything. But because of the chaos caused by man, for this battle to win it, you don't need peace. You need a sword. Now, this is not the sword that was used by the Roman soldiers. Flesh. No. We are not fighting. The Bible says we are not fighting against flesh and blood. So it's not the sword for flesh and blood. But this is the sword very prepared to sharpen anyone's thinking. That if your thinking is bending, they will come straight. You think straight now because of the thinking. But God says, there is peace that I am not bringing. So if you do not have peace, don't worry. It was mentioned by God. I am not bringing peace. I am bringing the sword. So I am not worried about what God brought to me. I take pleasure about everything that God gives me. But from what God gives, I profit a lot. I gain from what God gives me. In this case, God is saying, peace or sword is better than peace. For you, at this juncture, you need peace. You need sword more than peace. Let me just share with you what one of my friends said before when he was preaching. He was talking about Peter. You remember the story of Peter when he denounced God? I don't know him. Do you know that Peter denounced God from the question that comes from a little child? Huh? No, Peter was refused that he knows God because it was not a soldier who asked him. It was just a little child, a very small child asked him. This is one of them. Hey, young lady, stop it. Very little. She was not even threatening to him. And God had said to Peter, before the crowd crows, you will deny me how many times? 3 times. Now check what is happening between Peter